Hi guys, welcome back. Wow, indeed, what a day today. It was such a good day that it was saving a lot of people's desperation. I think whoever that was almost ready to press the sell button might have changed their mind today. Because even though all the major indexes were mostly moving on the side for most of the day and suddenly did a diving near the closing, and it's all the indexes including S&P 500, Nasdaq, and Russell 2000. But regardless of the market situation, our Chinese stocks were really on fire today. And the brightest star of the day would of course go to our baby NIO, right? It's up 14% today, at most 16 or near 17%, with a big spike of volume too. Look at that. Biggest volume since March, so for 9 months. This is the day that we have been waiting for so long, and it's long overdue. And for those that are getting really frustrated at NIO, it is finally outperforming Tesla, Xpeng, Li Auto, and Lucid, etc., right? So that is a comfort for you finally. If you have been losing faith, like I said last Thursday, comparing Xpeng and NIO, we cannot just look at the short-term movement because they might take turn. So today the sectors that outperformed the whole market was the Chinese stocks, and to be specific, it would be the Chinese tech giants like the BAT, for example, and also the Chinese EV. All the stocks that have been recently beaten down are finally catching up the momentum. And all of them share a similar movement. Big green bar with a strong increase of volume. Now, if you are in my Discord, you know that I have trimmed some of my long-term position, like NIO by 50%, LKCO by 70%, took profit from Luckin, etc. for the tax loss harvesting, right? So you think I might have missed the strong rebound today, but I said during this time I would put my money into the stocks that I did not own before, right? But because I cannot buy back right away, so instead I would put the money in the stocks that I did not own before, right? And with the last 2 videos, I have explained why I would choose to put in the ETF CWEB, which is the double leverage of the KWEB. And today it turned out to be outperforming all the Chinese stocks. So I'm very satisfied. I have nothing to complain. It was up 17% at some point, at most 21% during the day. So I'm very, very happy about this actually in the short term. So this had made my portfolio very, very happy today. And why did I choose the CWEB again? Other than the tax loss harvesting, I was also trying to clean up my portfolio to try to have less stocks inside so it can save my time to manage the portfolio, make it more simple. And also, as I explained last time, I do believe the HSI had a high possibility of bottom last Monday based on the calculation we did together in the video last week, and how scary it is showing similarities with what happened in 2018. Almost identical, right? But even though it's not absolute bottom, it's for sure a relative bottom. I think this we can agree. And I also think the fact that HSI had bottom doesn't mean it's bottom for all Chinese stocks. And it is especially the growth stock. It's hard to say. And I use the example of BYD. You can see that back in 2018, when the HSI bottomed through October to December, right? Everything would bounce off together, but later on with the US market correction, it would still have chance to make lower lows. And we're talking about BYD here, right? Such a good company. Of course, it's not as hot as right now because of the EV sector, but it's a good example to show that it's impossible to know what sector have for real bottom and what not. Right now, everything would bounce back off together. But after one point, it might have a divergence. So that's why, to be safe at this moment, I would recommend something like the KWEB or CWEB to have a stronger correlation with the index. And based on the move today, you can see that you can also make good profit with ETF as well. It's just that the CWEB has leverage, so it is more risky than KWEB. So do it according to your own risk tolerance. Right now, the market sentiment is so bad towards Chinese stocks. So I think it's good to bring out this psychology cycle graph again, the one I drew before, to remind you that I think right now we are in a complete different cycle with US and Chinese market. This was what I drew in early November. I said I think the US stocks is in greed and euphoria stage. Just look at how fast the FANG and Tesla has been running up. So I thought we are at the greed and euphoria stage, which doesn't mean it's peaking yet, because at this stage, it can last a while and stocks can keep running up until most retail investors can't take it anymore and FOMO in. And this is when the institutions would be distributing their shares to the retail investors. And things might peak at that time and come down with a hard correction. And we are at the opposite with Chinese stocks, which is the fear and desperation, where everything has been oversold. But it doesn't mean it would rebound and rally right away, because they can remain in the bottom for a while until most retail investors lose their faith completely and follow up with the last shake off, which is also the beginning of the cycle. So I do think we are at the fear and desperation stage very much so. That's why back then I said there is still opportunity in the US stocks. If you want to chase in and FOMO, there is still chance, there's still room to grow. And it was right, because since then, we have witnessed how fast Apple and Tesla and Nvidia have been running with no stop. Even right now, I think the indexes still can grow. Like the S&P 500 can still grow, believe it or not. But the only thing is that the fact that the mega caps are growing doesn't mean all the growth stocks are growing again. So that's why I suggested the Russell 2000. It was 208 to 210. And if you bought in the TNA, which is the triple leverage Russell 2000, it was at 70, there would have been 26% run up already, right? And it's not stopped yet. Still room to grow, but they just need to pass through the resistance. It might come down to a back test. I think right now, today, we just have seen a healthy dip. On Tuesday, it was running to as high as 225, right? That was the day I said Russell 2000 is at resistance, so watch out for the pullback, right? And you can see after my reminder on the Discord, it really had been pulling back, consolidating. If tomorrow it can backtest the support around 220, I think there is another chance to catch the dip of Russell 2000 or some specific growth stocks. Which ones? I will talk about it later. Same thing with the SPY. It has been doing a nice pullback. So if tomorrow it can backtest the range of 472 to 474, I think it's good opportunity to buy. And I would grab on this opportunity because it might be the last rally before a medium-term correction. Unless it breaks all the support right away tomorrow, then there's a possibility that the medium-term correction has started. But I think this is less of the possibility though. So I bought BABA yesterday and a call option on JD, which was double in one day, and BABA had a 10% run up. Pretty good for a mega cap like this. So why did I do that? Because yesterday it was the market pullback as I expected, and so that's why I wanted to take the opportunity. And also yesterday on the Discord, the sentiment was so bad. Like I saw a few Discord members were turning on each other, having some intensive dispute over the Chinese stocks or Chinese market. And like I said before, I take this sentiment as a good indicator for the Chinese stocks. So the fact that I saw such bad sentiments actually gave me a good confidence. So that's one thing. Number two is that for the first time in the whole history of my Discord, the market had a dip, it did a little bounce back up, and nobody asked me one question about any stocks, whether it's good to buy. You know, every correction we've had so far, and the moment we had a bounce back up, there was always question about certain stocks that they want to buy. But this time it's zero questions, no interest in buying anything with the dip. really the first time. So if you have been observing carefully, you can see a lot of things. And what this tells you is that a lot of people have lost complete faith and super desperate, right? Even though the share price of our stocks have been on sale and sale and sale with the bigger and bigger discount, no one was interested. So this actually gave me a lot of confidence. So I chose BABA to buy because this is probably the one stock that gave the most desperation for retail investors. So yesterday when I said on the Discord that I'm taking advantage of the dip today, I bought BABA at 111 and a JD call option and open Rivian and so on and so on, and you can see I got a lot of thumbs down. This is the first time I see this. To have so many more dislikes than the likes. It's really the first time I see this, and it got me thinking last night that this is unusual and it is a really good sign for me. And this really made me feel more and more bullish. So I spent one night to think about it and I decided to buy much more heavy at market open for the CWEB because this made me more confident about the decision yesterday. So right away this morning, market open, I bought CWEB and YINN right away. So I always emphasize stock market, it's a lot to do with psychology. So if you can observe carefully, attentively, there is a lot you can see. That might be more accurate than the fear and greed index, right? And you can see that the order today, mostly large orders, very big volume. So out of all the capital flowing inside today, most of them are big order. That is another good sign. Back to KWEB to be more accurate. Same thing, the order mostly green and big orders are not little. But for the CWEB though, the volume was more outstanding compared to normally. So I think this means a lot of investors are ready to take bigger risk with the Chinese stocks now. While before they might be more unsure and swing trade the KWEB, and now they are going with more risk, believing more of the bottom right now. That's why they will turn the leverage on. And same thing with the YINN. Now on KWEB, go to the weekly chart or monthly chart. You can see the big spike of volume. You see this volume to make at least 5 times more than the usual volume in the past years. So this volume cannot lie. It is made by billions of dollars from the large institutions, not retail investors like us. So when I say I believe in 2022, the Chinese stocks would significantly outperform all the other indexes, I still stand by this belief. So the whole time I have been very consistent with what I say, what I do, what I believe in. I have been giving a heads up about the KWEB and CWEB. So if you did not catch the dip, it's probably because you were still thinking about regretting, or some people might be still putting blame out there, which I think it's okay, but it really takes up too much of your mind. So then you're not keeping a fresh mind, you're not thinking straight, thinking clear. We are all human, we are all allowed to make mistakes, but what's more important is to think about what to do in the future, to look forward and not look back all the time and just regret this and that at that time, or any that caused this or that. This is completely useless, and it only stops you from thinking strategically. Basically just poison to your brain. Now let's take a look at some of our top stocks, give a brief update, and share a plan for next year. Baby NIO had broke out of this trend line last week. Yesterday it did a precise back testing, and today continue running up with a strong spike of volume. So this is a very good sign. It means the institutions have finally decided to enter and buy the dip. The delivery is coming up right after the new year for the December, and I assume it shall be good, and I assume that it's not going to be another October that has a black swan again, but also not a big jump, because I assume some buyers might be waiting for the ET7 and the ET5, the newer models. So I don't expect big jump all the way until we have the delivery of the new cars. For now, let's just keep it steady. then we shall be okay. This time for the rebound, I would be a little bit greedy and put the target aim for 38 for this rebound. Let's see if we can get there. We might do something similar with Xpeng and do a head and shoulder bottom. I don't know for now, but when the US market makes a medium-term correction, I do expect NIO to pull back with the market. And the Q4 earning might be a potential bomb for NIO as well, because the October delivery was very bad. But again, a lot of institutions, they have already known that, they might have priced in that. So if the Q4 earning makes a dip on the day, it might be a good opportunity to buy. At least for me, myself, I think, or I hope that would create an opportunity for me to buy back the shares, because NIO would be one of the stocks that I want to buy back the most for the tax loss harvesting. For now, the new support should be around 31.5. So if you have bought the dip, you can consider putting a trailing stop limit to lock in some profit there, in case the market is volatile. Next is EH. EH and LKCO are small growth stocks that I am unsure whether it would still make lower lows in the future when the market moves up and down, right? But at least for now, EH has a medium-term catalyst, which is to get the certificate. And I assume it would be either Q1 or Q2, but at least the first half of the year. They can't make it for the Beijing Olympic, most likely, but it's okay. If it continues to make lower lows, the next support is around 13. And right now, the resistance, it's around 16.4. Similar with the EH, LKCO also, it's a penny stock. Well, different than EH, LKCO is actually a penny stock with a very small market cap. I have warned the possibility for the second listing in Hong Kong that it might not meet the requirement yet. And I don't see a short-term or medium-term catalyst. And right now it has broke the support of 68 cents and 65 cents. It would act as a resistance. So it depends on your own strategy. In terms of the fundamental, nothing has changed. What's changed is the macro environment for Chinese stocks and the growth stocks across all the US markets. Even all the penny stocks in the US markets are falling. So there's no surprise that it's not the best or the most friendly environment for Chinese penny stocks. For Luckin, I remember on this day, when it was around 13, I said if it doesn't close above 12.9, it would have stopped the uptrend for Luckin that has been going on for a few months. And now you can see that after that it was a continual selling off. Has it bottomed yet? I don't know, but I can show you that we are at almost exactly the trend line that has been going on for 2 years. So hopefully it can get back above the trend line, otherwise the correction might be longer. Now there was a support around 12.8, and since we broke the support, it would likely do the falling like around the same range from the support of 28%. It seems like the fall has satisfied the need to be around 9.1. Right now resistance is at 9.9. For Luckin, there's medium-term catalyst, which is in April, that the chapter 15 might be behind. For Xpeng, it has done a typical head and shoulder bottom, right? In that case, it should be a bullish signal. I think Xpeng would run with Tesla, at least for the next few months, probably. Different than NIO, I think Xpeng's Q4 earning might be a good catalyst. Now for CWEB, I haven't updated for a while, but on this day, last Friday, there was a big spike of volume. That was almost like the biggest one since February to March, and it was bottom before most of the Chinese stocks. So it seems like there was really capital buying the dip. Could be the company buying back, could be the institutions. Could be they know something we don't know, that the company is announcing something good. I think it's worth watching out for. And let's do an update on JKS. Again, I think EV and new energy would still be the no-brainer for the next 5 to 10 years But recently, even all the solar stocks in the A-share, the Shanghai Composite, have been going through correction. I think this correction might last for 2 more weeks max, and then I expect it to pick up and continue. In the end, CWEB, which I updated in the morning, right? The resistance 12.6 to 12.9, and then after that is 13.2. And in the afternoon, we got to 13.2 precisely and pull back from there. So you can see if it can pass this resistance. If it does, then it's another chance to buy in. And if not, look for the next supports, 12.9 and 12.2. And in the end, I just want to say thank you very much for all your support this year, even though we have had a lot of up and downs. And this is my last video in the year of 2021. Sorry about the bad joke. But I do want to say that it was a very difficult year. A lot of people lost money. Not just me and you, but most retail investors, because 99% of the stocks were down even though the index were up. So don't blame yourself. And what I would suggest the most right now is to refresh your mind and not focus on how much you have lost, and do not try to rush it, to try to make it back quick. This is when it becomes dangerous and where you can make even more and bigger mistakes. Let's keep our minds calm and think clear about our plan in 2022. For me, myself, I am making a plan on the ideal portfolio for myself going towards 2022, and I'll work out the percentage of the stocks I want and work my way through it next year. Some of you asked me when would I buy back all the shares that I trimmed for the tax purpose. I would say step by step. If 2021 is difficult, I think maybe 2022 is even more difficult, more volatile. Sectors would rotate even faster and there might be more frustration. So the least thing we want is to rush it to try to make big money back. Like just now I said, what opportunity I will look out for buying back NIO, but for EH and LKCO, I think the best time is when the US market does a medium-term correction of more than 10 to 20% for the medium term. Then I think this would be a good timing to buy back the growth stocks. And I really hope it's the first half of 2022, because I want to go heavier into EH before they get the certificate. Now that's it for today. Here I wish you a happy new year. Again, enjoy the holiday with your family, and after that we come back with a fresh mind and we look forward to the year of 2022, okay? Now, if you have enjoyed this video, please give me a big like and write me a great comment, and I'll see you in my next video. That's it, guys. Hope you can find my videos helpful. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and give me a big like. Thank you.